Podcast Studio 25 Network. We are lucky to be here today with the member of the Albany Firebirds. I'm sure I apologize. Are you the general manager? I forget your exact title, sir. Mr. Levack.
Team president. No, Damon is both head coach and GM. So.
Oh, you do it all. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I did not know that. Coach Jeff, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah. Well, listen, you said I do it all. Damon Ware does all the work. I just he's head coach, GM. I'm team president. So
team president. Okay.
Yeah. He's the workhorse. I'm just the guy that takes credit for everything.
No, that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. I know what a grind it is in arena, and everyone wears so many different hats, and it's not easy, especially to put a good club together. And you guys have had some success really the last couple years, which is why I had reached out and wanted to interview you, because Albany is becoming back to where they belong. I mean, we used to have success back to touchdown Eddie Brown. When I played, we had Ryan Venna. So it's great to see that happening. And how many years have you been with the team?
So in 18 and 19, I was the on-field MC for the Empire. I was doing a radio show. And then in 21 and 22, I was the team president. 23, I was doing media when everything went a different direction. And then still here now. So with the Firebirds, first year with the Firebirds. So excited about that, though.
Where are you originally from?
Right here. I grew up in Albany. Went to Colony High School and just liked it here and never left. Yeah, buddy. Yep.
All right. I love Colony. I mean, you look like a big dude. I mean, did you play ball? Did you
a little bit. I've had some. I've had a couple different journeys through the world of sports, but nothing at the pro level. No, I started doing radio out of high school and college, so it's easier to talk about doing this stuff than it is to actually put the work in. No,
you know what? I love radio. I interned at a radio station in Utica when I was in college. I went to UConn, and I interned over the summer, and I fell in love with it. I just love radio. So, where did you get your start in radio, or did you intern first, or how did that happen?
So I used to be a cook, and all my buddies would get together on the weekend, and I'd call in, I'd do voices and stuff, trying to see how many times I could get on Uncle Vito's open house party.
That's awesome.
And then finally met him and won some tickets and went in, told him I wanted to do radio. They told me to go to a trade school called New School of Radio and Television, did that, then interned at Pix 106, which is, a local legend, and just been doing it ever since.
Well, I can tell you that I recently was working out in Albany for Albany Broadcasting. I worked for Albany Broadcasting in 2022, and then 2023 I worked at Town Square Media as well. So I am familiar with the landscape. But I was also an Albany Firebird, a member of the Albany Conquest, a member of the Albany Arena family. We've just had so many passionate fans. So did you start off, I mean, having like a talk show, a sports show? Did you start off DJing? How did you get started mainly on air?
I was an intern, and then I hosted all the live events in the area. Then I was the board op for Stern for a while, Howard Stern.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was fun. The local board op. I never dealt with him, but his minions were always around, and they were always good to me. Then my own night show on a rock station. I did mornings on a country station, and then ultimately ended up doing afternoon sports talk, and left Town Square Media in 21 to help run the team. And now I'm running the team, and I work for iHeart locally.
You work for okay.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Radio ho, if you will.
Are you doing on-air stuff for iHeart? Or are you doing sales? Or you kind of do it all?
No. So when everything went weird last year,
Yes.
I got the call from my old co-host to go. So we're 3 to 6 in the afternoon. We do sports talk. It's a Fox Sports Radio affiliate. And then, all morning and all night, I'm working on the team, trying to get the guys what they need.
That's great. That's great because we need more local coverage. I know we had on the radio, so it's great to hear that you're doing that. So you got involved with the team. Had you always liked arena football, or because it's a niche sport, and I always felt Albany had the best fans and just a passionate audience and understood the game. But for traditional fans, sometimes watching it, they roll their eyes a little bit, but it is so competitive. There's so much talent. I was just curious if you watched it growing up or if you were just a fan of it.
Yeah, no, I remember the glory days, 99 championship. I was in the building for that. And then, just as a fan, but the radio job allowed me to, like you said, Steve, like there's just not enough local coverage.
Nothing.
So in 18 and 19, my co-host and I, so Levack and Gaz is the show, we wrapped our arms around the team. We got in, deep. And then when the AFL went bankrupt after the 19 season, a good friend of mine who's also went to Colony, Mike Corda, he bought the rights to the team. So when the team came back in 21, he became part owner. He asked me to help out, and we've been stacking championships ever since.
That is so awesome. And because it's difficult playing in different leagues. Like when I was with the Mass Pirates, we were all over the place. We would go down to Jacksonville. We would go far out west. It was crazy. Then we played a team down in New York City. I remember their arena. It looked like a basketball arena.
It was streets. Is that the streets you guys played?
Yeah, they were. I think they were called the streets. Yeah, I remember going, and the owner and his son ran the team, and his son was probably 22 years old. And they just spent money. They just wanted to buy the best players. We paid for Dexter McClushan to come on the team. We bought so much talent because he wanted to win. Right. And it was just crazy the roster moves we would make. And I know arena, how it works. I know, the reason I made a roster was off of a 2-day workout. But the roster moves would be week to week. Like you never knew who would be getting a plane ticket home, and you never would get the notification. It was just the Wild West. And then he switched leagues and went into the IWF last year, the indoor one. And I think they won that championship. But it's so good to see that the true AFL has come back. And it's been a little while. I played for the New York Dragons back in the day, and I played some AF2. So this is the true and tried AFL, old AFL rules. Is it guys playing both ways still? Guys having to play on special teams?
So the interesting thing about this is we started with one commissioner, and he made a lot of promises that I don't know if he couldn't. Yeah, right. But we now are actually Jeff Fisher's now our commissioner, and the rules.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting year to say the least. But the plus side of it is, since the changes, since the capital firm and everybody up north who owns the trademarks got involved, it does feel a lot more stable, and it feels like we will be able to get back to what the AFL once was. But it's a bit of a journey. It's the the original AFL trademarks. It's AFL 3.0, if you will. But it's definitely we've got the cool thing about what this league has already been through is the people who are here want to be here and have a passion.
Oh, they love it. They love it.
So now it's I think now the sky's the limit.
No, they absolutely love it. And it's so great to see, the Orlando Predators back, the Cats back, and then some of the new teams, the Minnesota Myth. Dodge
They're already
City,
gone.
Kansas.
They're already gone. They were owned by the commissioner's wife. The Myth are out.
That's why you won 2-0.
Yeah.
I was looking at the score.
Well, it was crazy because they played the same place the Timberwolves play. So we were supposed to play out there, but then when the Timberwolves advanced, they lost the date, and then we offered to bring them here. They said yes, and then they didn't show up.
Yeah, because they didn't want to pay for the travel, probably.
I mean, that would be my guess, but it's
too bad.
And now here we are. We got 4 games left to go, and we're 6-0, and there's a couple teams who have gotten forfeits on there, but we did everything we could to bring them here. They just couldn't. Turns out the team actually was a myth. Like, they didn't actually exist.
It is. The Minnesota Myth were a myth. I like that.
Yes.
Where currently do you have the players living? I know we used to live over at Lakeshore Beverwick Apartments. And that was always fun. I was curious where the guys are staying.
Our housing partner is actually Century Hill and the Clock Tower Inn. So we got a great relationship with them locally.
That's great.
Yeah. It's top notch. They're taking great care of the guys. That's great because when you've got it set like that too, you have meeting rooms available to you. You have all kinds of
everything. You get to do everything there.
Yep, whatever you can't do in the arena because Vince McMahon and the WWE come through. You got to clear out. So we get to go over there and get everything done.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do have to clear out. So being team president, and then you have a coach / GM. I was curious, was it all free agent signings? Was there a draft? I was just curious how it was put together because it's, the AFL coming back, how that was done.
It was all free agent. I mean, because you played, the power of the player is to be able to choose where they go, and
Correct.
that's at this level, it's important to empower these guys as much as possible. So
everything. Yes.
Everybody who came here, they wanted to play for Coach Ware. They wanted to play in front of these Albany fans who are insane and rabid.
They are.
It's
a tough environment.
Absolutely.
To play in.
So I said a couple of the guys like Darius Prince when he was with the Soul, I was like, "Why'd you like playing here?" He goes, "Because it's the loudest place I've ever been booed." I'm like, "What do you like playing here?" He goes, "Loudest place I've been cheered." So, it's one of those. It's definitely the place to be, MVP Arena.
Talk to me a little bit about your day-to-day operations. Are you trying to supervise with tickets and ticket sales and selling season ticket packages as well? Are you wining and dining your season ticket holders? And also obviously supervising the on-field product as well?
Yeah, I mean, every day is a little different. I tell everybody that if I'm doing my job right, like I'm the support staff. Like how does Joe, my ticket salesman, does he have everything he needs to make sure that the message is getting out on the great deals we have for seats? Does Nick, the director of game day ops, does he have everything he needs so we can have games on the field that make sense? Does Coach Ware have what he needs? It's support staff for the most part. And as far as wining and dining the season ticket holders, we're trying to get back to that level where when you're a season ticket holder, you're appreciated. We did a special T-shirt. We did a first in flock because they were the first ones to buy tickets for them. We some season ticket holder only events, but it's, to be perfectly honest with you, we're still building towards where we're going to be with those guys because that's your backbone. Those are the people if you don't sell enough season tickets, you're never going to have a base that gets you to that 10,000 people that we used to see pack the MVP arena.
I remember, but I mean, you're building to that. And as I coached college football for 10 years, and I always say, winning cures everything. Winning,
that's deodorant. Nothing stinks after a win.
I see you got some nice gear on too. Who sponsors you guys?
Actually, this is something I had made because I'm fat. This is.
I'm heavy too, man. 3+.
So we did the team uniforms are through BSN. Some of the gear is through Fanatics. We have a local company called Elevation 10,000 that I have a good relationship with. So pretty much anything I need special order for the guys or whatever, I hit Elevation and they take care of it.
Okay. Okay. So you do most of your planning for your sports show, I would think, in the mornings, and then you go do your show, and then from the nighttime on, you're with the club.
I like
Or
when I
is
first
it
get up in
back
the
and
morning,
forth?
like, yeah, you know that point where like people used to sit and read the sports page. Like I'm taking some notes from that, getting my
Yeah.
coffee, and then usually I'm back. I'm in here in the office by about 8 a.m.
Oh, so you call, okay, you right in.
Yeah, well, you got. I mean, you got to be present. The guys need you. And
You do.
there's so much going on, and the building needs us. Because there's communication between your coach and building
Yeah.
up this and that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then about 1:45, 2:00, hop in the truck, go over to the studios. Sometimes I'll set up. I have a similar setup to what you have for your show, where I'll set up right here and I'll do my half of the show from here, so that
It's so good now because you can do it remote if you have the right equipment, right?
And that way, if like something's really wrong, the guys will walk in, and all of a sudden I'll be like, guys, cover me for two, and then like figure out what's going on and keep rolling. It's a little bit of a juggling act, but it's completely worth it. I love both jobs.
No, I can tell you do. It's good to see the passion and enthusiasm you have for it, because I think that's what was missed, and it's good to see it back. And I have always been an Albany Firebirds and arena football fan. I don't think people give it enough credit. I don't think people realize how difficult it is to play offense and defensive line. There's been some incredible pass rushers. There's been some incredible quarterbacks, skill players, DBs. I mean, you can't just walk on the field. I mean, there is some real talent that comes out of there.
When we do the tryouts, it's always that moment. You see it. You see each guy has that moment of enlightenment where it's like, this sucks. It's like, yeah, dude, this ain't playing pick up on your flag league. This is real football.
I was curious, where do they let you practice at the MVP as much as you can, or do you go somewhere else? Okay.
No, it's schedule driven. So like in the beginning of the season, we'll get together with the building and map out a schedule, and then we'll crumple it up and throw it away about 15 times because the new show will come through or something.
Of course.
This year we've been really lucky. We have a partnership we've been developing with Hudson Valley Community College. They have an indoor. Oh my God, it's great. It's perfect. So
that's where we used to practice, HVCC, and their football school. They have an indoor facility now.
Yeah. So they have a hockey rink that they turn in, that they put turf down.
Oh, wow.
Both us and the lacrosse team, the Fire Wolves, will practice there when we can't practice here.
Wow. So, I mean, offensively, we used to score points, but, I mean, some of the scores here, I mean, 60, 50, 60, I mean, that's incredible. And then to hold an arena football team to 15 points, I don't think I've ever seen. I don't even think I've seen an arena team hold someone to 24 points. So, I mean, you're obviously doing some great things. What went into putting the roster together, and like the training camp invites and the collaboration? Because I do another show called Moneyline, and my co-host despises the NFL general managers because he doesn't think they do their jobs well. And I try to explain to him that NFL scouts, they're all out on the road. They all see the talent. They evaluate them in person. They do their little write-ups. They turn them in.
And then
the GM and the head coach, if they don't listen to them, I mean, there's nothing more they can do. So I was just curious about the collaboration that you guys did or went into putting that kind of roster together, because you got a good squad.
So honestly, we have three local owners: Mike Quarter, who I mentioned, Andy Gelcher, Richie Cesnat. They put together the budget,
awesome.
And then Damon Ware goes to work. I mean, this guy. I learned in years past, he was our assistant head coach in 21 and 22. And I would do I would do the podcast. I would do the interviews where we tape a segment where the guys would tell us, what made you decide to come to Albany, whatever. And every one of these new guys, after I talked to Coach Ware, I knew this is where I wanted to be. After I talked to him, he's one of those guys who actually cares about the players, and they can tell.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes all the difference in the world. When you have a coach who you know cares about you off the field as well as on the field,
he has their goals in mind too, Steve. Like if there's guys who are focused on playing outdoors, he'll sit there and be like, "Listen, give me 2 years, I'll get you there.
Yeah, I'll get you there.
Yeah, I'll focus on that with your skill set, because that can help us win." If he's got guys who, this is the dream is to play this and just score a bunch of points, I'll get you there too. He hears people out, and the best thing he does too is he'll tell you the truth whether you want to hear it or not, and he does it from a respectful place. So
he's direct.
Yeah, I mean he's catnip for a lot of these players. They're as soon as they see him, they start purring, and they want to be in Albany.
So who are the other members of the coaching staff? Is there an O&D line coach? Is he is the head coach the OC? Does he have a DC? Is that the staff really?
Yeah, so Damon Ware, he's head coach and offensive coordinator. Okay. Dwayne Hollis, who literally was just playing last year, one of the best cornerbacks in the history of arena ball. He's our defensive coordinator.
Oh, wow.
Brandon Cisse, who was our defensive lineman, he's now in charge of the lines and helping with special teams. And then we got some local guys, Coach Gabe and Coach Tony, who have stepped in and been a huge part of it. And we got Gooch. He's our intern. He's kicking ass and taking names. So great staff.
I mean, I always felt this way. What do you think the difference is when you do have some of that young blood around? Like, I think older coaches are great. They know the game. They understand the game. In my opinion, I don't know that they relate as well to the younger players. So I think having a younger staff, they have more energy. They have that passion, that enthusiasm. And I think that it sets the tone and resonates with the players. Is that similar to the thinking of bringing on those guys? I mean, I know they love the game and everything, but having a younger staff, I think, makes a difference.
Well, it's funny because I've had other coaches tell me I'll never hire a guy who's like 1 year out of football.
Of course,
because they still have that mindset where they'll put the helmet on and go to work.
You got to be careful. You're right.
But that wasn't the case with Coach Ware. We knew that Brandon Cisse and Dwayne Hollis were going to be on this team one way or another. It was either going to be in pads or on the sideline helping. So he, sat down with both of them and, got them and made sure everybody's messages were on the same place. And here they are. And like when you talk about relating to the players, quick anecdote, little story from back in 23. Early in the year, it was pretty clear I was going to leave. Like there was the Antonio Brown thing going on. I just couldn't do it. I just didn't want to be a part of it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was.
Wasn't his kid there too?
No, well, Eddie Brown came in but Antonio.
That's right. That's what it was. Yes,
yeah, and listen, Eddie.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I've got nothing but good things to say about Eddie still, but Antonio and I went to war in the media and everything else, and I remember this group of leaders went into the club, into the locker room, and said, "Hey, Levack gave us everything he had, and even if he's not going to be here, he's still family," and that meant the world to me. So like they speak for us a lot. There's team leadership, top to bottom, and now two of them are holding clipboards, but it doesn't change the fact that guys respect the hell out of them.
So, I mean, did it get to a point where it could have been either or, where like if Antonio Brown didn't go, that you would have gone, or?
No, I had to go because he was part owner.
You had to.
What happened was it was a crazy story, Steve. Like it was Mike Corda, myself, and some of my media guys and everybody. It was the off season, and the AFL put out a post about showing Eddie Brown, and we saw Antonio Brown comment on it. So we commented to him, and then next thing you know, the phone's ringing, and it's Antonio Brown talking to Mike Corda, and we've at that point we hadn't had over 5,000 people in the building yet.
Right.
So we're sitting here going like, this is the guy, like, listen, maybe this is the way we do it. And everything he said at the time was great. And then after that, we got hit with this gigantic workman's comp bill, and he paid it. And once he paid it, he changed his whole tune. And he and I were like,
so he thought that because he paid the workman's comp bill that he has carte blanche to
and he knew everything, and that was it. And
oh my God,
it was tough.
God bless you.
Well, the thing that stunk is when he first got here, I liked him. We got along. We talked about some stuff, and I thought he was going to be good for us. And then just, I told one reporter, I go, if you told me the part of Antonio Brown was played by 3 different people, I would believe you.
No,
I felt like I talked to 3 different people.
Yeah, I mean, the last image I have of him in the NFL was when they played the Jets, and he took his pads off and shirt off and threw it into the crowd and ran into the stands, and we never saw him again in the NFL.
Off into the sunset.
He just probably has some mental health problems and needs to talk to someone. It's difficult, and I can't imagine what you had to deal with. I can't imagine what his own father had to deal with, and I'm sorry that the 23 season was as stressful as it was, but it's great that you've gotten back on track. What has made the difference this year?
Andy Belcher and Richie Sesnet. The two have, because Mike's always been there. Like I said, I went to kindergarten with Mike Corda, so it's like we, two big meatheads running around. It's always been the case. But to bring in the fresh blood, and like Andy's got this energy to him. He owns Mohawk Chevrolet up here. He's got that over the top. Like let's do it now. How do we fix it now? Now. And then Richie's one of those guys that just, we need a truck to get something somewhere. I got 5. Let's go get one. Like they brought this can do. They're proactive. Yeah, they're like human caffeine. They both came in with this new energy, and to have 3 guys like that at the head of the table, it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember after practice, we'd be fighting over a tray of ziti, for the after meal. And now it seems like you guys are really taking care of the players and doing everything you can for their needs and making sure they're comfortable. You got them into a hotel, which I thought was brilliant, because the apartments were not great. The hotel, they get room service. You get to have the meetings at the hotel. I'm sure. Can they eat at the hotel, or do they still have the sponsorship deals? Okay.
Well, we do a lot of sponsorship deals. And that's the community is huge for that. There's a night a week that they go and they have dinner at Buca de Beppo. There's a night they go to Hooters. There's a night they go to Lionheart on the Green. And it's good for them to get out and mingle, and it's good for us to know they're eating right and everything. And so it's still part of the deal to make sure the guys are cared for and fed. But I mean, this if you're getting your paycheck and we respect you and we want to take care of you, well, now you're going to play 10 times better because you don't have to worry about the other nonsense.
No, you're 100% right. I was just curious, and you don't have to answer this. The pay structure in the league, is it like it was before where it was a set limit for everyone, or is there more of like a salary cap that you follow? I was just curious because we used to always get fined with the Mass Pirates because Jawad would spend well over the salary cap that they set.
The NIL, I remember.
Get pissed, and then he spent a fortune on the Nesson deal. He put us on Nesson, and nobody watched us, and we paid for that. So I was just curious. He did. Well, did you ever? Did you know Jawad? Did you ever meet him?
I haven't met him, but I've talked to him on the phone once, and I know that the dream is for us both to be in the same league, so we can get to a bus and have a real good. We want that local rivalry, and he seems like the guy to do it. You know what I mean? We could. Yeah, we'll put in just as much as he'll put in, and we'll go at it.
And they're playing in Lowell now, I think.
Yeah, right? which is cool. I mean, I would love to end up in a league with them at some point, but they'd have to come to us at this point because we're not going to them.
What league are they in now? Do you know?
I think they're still in the IFL.
They still are in the IFL.
I think so. But hey, it's a good league, but the rules are different.
It's different, yeah.
Everything's different. As far as the pay goes in this league, the goal from the beginning is to pay the guys a little bit more. So it's more of a salary floor, and then the league originally was supposed to help everybody with their salaries.
Yeah,
we'll see if that happens or not. But
the check's in the mail, right?
100%. Yeah, and it's Pony Express. So good luck with a literal pony. But yeah, so it was built around that, so for some competitive balance and everything. But it's we
got good owners who are taking care of everyone, which 100%. Is good. They're not nickel and diming them.
No, they yell at me about how much everything costs, and then they remember that they're the ones who signed the deals, which is fine with me. I said it in the very first press conference. I was like, listen, people are going to give me some credit here and credit there. The bottom line is Coach Ware does all the work to get the team together. These guys bring the cash. I'm just really good at spending their money.
Well, I just love that you don't micromanage either, because so many people micromanage and you don't, which is huge.
If I know how to do it better than you know how to do it, we'll sit down until you know it better than me, and then I'll get out of the way.
I love that. So you are on the road to Odessa, Texas. Wow.
Yeah. Friday Night Lights, baby.
Wow. What is that trip like? Is it like 3 connections? Like how do you get there? Because you fly commercial.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine where you'd go. Do you go to Florida? Do you go to Chicago? Or
actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, the airline order just went through my desk like yesterday. I think Suzanne, who handles our travel, she's a genius. Yeah. I think we have to bus to the city, and then there's a direct from the city.
Yeah, that's what we used to do.
Yeah. So, but I mean, in the past when we went there, it was like a bus to Philly or 2 stops or whatever. So the fact she was able to find a flight from LaGuardia there, I mean, that's huge. Gigantic for the guys.
Yeah, that's definitely worth the trip. That's, a couple hours down, direct flight there. And, the season, the way it plays out, besides you guys, your team, who is the next best in the league? Is it Orlando? Is it Montana?
All right, so we just played Nashville. I think Nashville's got a ton of talent, but we beat them twice now.
Yes.
I would say it's between Orlando and West Texas at this point.
That's what I thought, Orlando and West Texas.
Yeah. I mean, Orlando we always said that, like, when we came back in 21, we focused on winning on the football field. They focused on winning in the stands and getting more people in seats. They're now focused on winning in the football field. And the team they brought here to open the season is the best Orlando team I've seen, probably since '99. To be honest with you, they're that good. And West Texas is no joke. A lot of guys who used to play here, the guys who didn't play here were like the villains, like Lonnie Outlaw and Devin Wilson, who number 1. I mean, those 2 guys, they've been villains to us from the rip. They were always on our biggest rival. So they're all there. So that West Texas team is really good, and so is Orlando. So,
and how does the playoff structure work? Because it's obviously got to be different now.
Yeah, so they actually when the new commissioner they took over, a lot of the stuff kind of morphed to fit what they felt was best. Last I've heard, the 5 will play 4 for the right to play 1, and then 1 will host 4 and 2 will host 3. So the 2 highest seeds will end up hosting, but 4 will play 5 first. So 5 teams will make it to the postseason, and then 4 will duke it out for the championship.
Oh, okay. I like that idea. Idea.
Keeps everybody in it and competitive a little bit longer.
Okay. So is there there's obviously more team, or are there more teams than what I'm seeing, or is it
we cut back. We cut back to
Minnesota.
It's 10 teams. Yeah, Minnesota's gone. A lot of the teams. So basically, the way it worked is in the beginning, the powers that be, who really, really wanted to make a huge splash, so they came out with 16 teams. The problem with that was, at least 6 of those teams were from smaller leagues, did not have the bankroll to do it.
Yeah.
And kind of were set up to fail. So now we're down to 9, and it's us, Billings, West Texas, Salina, Nashville, Orlando, Southwest Kansas, Washington, and Wichita.
Yeah, I remember when we played in Spokane a couple times, and their fans were crazy too.
Yeah,
that was wildness going out there. I was shocked. I was blown away by that. So you're still in a great position. I mean, you'll have home field throughout, and it'll be 3 rounds, 2 rounds on the championship.
Yeah, so we'll play. We'll only have if we're top 3 seed, we'll only have to play twice. We'll play our playoff game and the championship.
Then the championship game.
If you're the 4 or the 5, you have to play 3.
Do they give you bonuses if you win? Any bonus?
Right now, that's team by team, and we've decided to distribute kind of a bonus system throughout the season. Like, there's been a lot of steak dinners after these W's.
Yes.
I'll tell you
that. yes. You can't miss those.
No.
Wow, that's great. So, you put together a great coaching staff. You put together a great team. Have you had anyone in the last year or two that has gotten, to mini camp, has gotten workouts, has gotten a look from the next level?
Well, some of the guys on the team have in the past, like Darius Prince was at Eagles camp.
Right.
Nick Hague played for the Giants and the Colts. Markel Wade, I think, is somebody that we've seen get sniffs. Trayvon Shorts back in 21, he hurt his thumb towards the end of the year, and it stinks because it was one of our only actual injuries that isn't treated with a little bit of rest. And he had a trial with the Lions scheduled. So if he hadn't hurt his thumb, who knows? He could be playing outdoors right now. But a lot of these guys, it's an interesting mix. It's a couple guys who just want to play one more year or two more or three more, whatever. They're just not ready to stop yet. And then the guys who are working their way up and know that with the right attention, they could do anything. Mark Orozco, our kicker, he was in the CFL for a minute, but he's just so dang good at indoors, man. He can hit that deuce. He's amazing. I don't ever want him to leave indoor. He's just too good at it.
Yeah, and that's so tough with the uprights being the way they are. And the CFL right now isn't what it used to be either. Arena is just as good and just more competitive. And it's so much more fun to watch. And there's always something during timeouts. There's always a promotion going on.
Right.
That's why I always loved it. You never have a boring minute going to a game.
If I'm doing my job right, you go to a party and a football game breaks out.
You do. Do you guys still have the after parties for the players? Do you do after parties?
We do. I do not go to them. I go home.
You learned your lesson.
Yeah, there's a cigar and a bourbon in my backyard. That's
your celebration.
Yeah, because listen, I'm not going to pretend I'm church bound at any moment.
No.
But these guys, that's their moment. Let them go crazy. Yeah, I'll catch up with them during the week, and if they want to have a couple drinks, we'll do it then.
And the last thing I'll ask you about growing the attendance, bringing that back, because it is a process, and it's a process when you're switching teams, team names, you're switching leagues, and now being officially back in the AFL, being the Firebirds, that's obviously made a difference. How has attendance steadily been growing?
Well, the opener was great. The opener was fantastic. The problem has been that with the AFL tried to do a deal with NFL Network. So instead of 7:00 Saturday night kickoffs, you're doing 8:00. You're doing Thursday. You're doing Monday. So we've gotten away from that. We're doing So we're doing the Saturdays again. So I think you're starting to see it come back. The fan base, again, they went through everything last year with the empire crumbling, pun intended, and they've seen it. The teams you played for left us. The teams in 19 left us. Whatever. So a lot of the fans will hold on to that.
They want that trust back. Yeah.
I don't want to get hurt again. And and that's why I just look at them and go, listen, we through COVID and Antonio Brown, we won 2 titles and we haven't left. So we're here. We're not going anywhere. But it's definitely the 15th is our last home game of the season, regular season. And the last I looked, that's trending to be our biggest game that we've ever been a part of. So from 21 to now, it has the look of being the most packed that we've ever done. So I'm hoping for that crazy
10,000, 8,000 to 10,000 again.
Yep.
Oh, man, that'd be awesome.
If I get 8,000 right now, I'll know that's the sign that we're on the right path.
Dude, it's your blood, sweat, and tears. It's so much that you put into it. It's not an easy job. You got to go out and you got to sell. You got to your sales team getting sponsorships. You're getting meals for the guys, and being the team president and having to oversee absolutely everything from the players on down. if a player's taking a shower and the hot water's not running, sometimes they're going to call the team president. I mean,
complaint department.
That's just what they do.
If I'm being,
but you love it.
Yeah, I love it. But if I'm being honest, like Damon Ware and the three owners, Mike, Andy, and Richie, like they do, each one of them. If I've got my back to the wall, they're right there with. And 9 times out of 10. Not 9 times, but I'd say let's say 4 times out of 10. I don't even know if find out there's a problem until it's already solved, because those 4 guys will jump into the fire and fix it first.
You know what? That's so good to hear. It's just good to hear that you're not having to fight these battles alone. You have good backup. You have the coaches.
I'd be in the corner if it was just me. Like it's way too much. As a matter of fact, I probably could do more if we're being perfectly honest. But don't tell them that. I didn't say it.
And the radio show has still been doing well. The sports talk show,
surprisingly successful. Yeah.
Is it more like local based, New York based? Like you talk Albany Great Danes football, I mean Siena basketball, or do you still mix in that national news?
Still mix in the national, especially Yankees, Mets. Yeah, I'm not so much Mets right now. Sorry, Mets fan.
Yeah,
but Jets, Giants, Bills, like basically whatever. The goal of the show has always been, if Gaz and I were sitting at a bar and we were talking sports, we'd want you walking through to sit down and go, hey, I want to talk too.
That's what it is. That's all it is.
Whatever topic is big at the moment with guys like us, that's what we're trying to talk about.
Giants, Jets, or Bills fan?
Raiders.
Wow. Did not see that coming. The Raiders fan. Okay. I can go.
Yeah, my pops, back when I was 4, they were in the Super Bowl, and he said he wanted to win, and it burned into my brain, and it's never left.
I can go with that. What did you think of the Antonio Pierce hire?
I like it. They're playing their butts off for him. Beat Kansas City. I mean, you get a coach that you want to go to war for. That's half the battle.
I do too. I just I know they still have Jimmy Garoppolo, or they release him?
No, not anymore. Now it's Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
That's the guy they signed. Yeah. Do you think he'll be the answer, or do you think they're going to end up having to draft someone?
I'm that crazy person who thinks Aiden O'Connell is going to grow into the spot. I like that kid.
The guy that I host the other sports show with loves Gardner Minshew, and I'm like, how can you love him? He's been on 10 teams in the last 3 years. Like,
if he goes in and he wins, I'll love him. But I think Aiden O'Connell, like they said, he's been living at the facility. They said he put on a bunch of muscle weight. He's ready. Him and Antonio Pierce are locked at the hip, and I think that's the way you get better.
And I can't remember. Did they end up letting Josh Jacobs go?
Yeah, Jacobs is over in Green Bay now. So Zamir White, Zeus, that's the key back now.
Are you happy with him? You like him?
I do. I always love Josh Jacobs. I think his story is amazing.
Yeah, it was.
But at the same time, hey, you got to get paid. Go ahead, man. Let's spread that money around elsewhere.
The last question I'll ask you, 2 questions I want to ask you. The Buffalo Bills trading Stephon Diggs. Did you think there was something going on behind the scenes with him and Josh Allen, something tumultuous? Because I never thought that, but that's what I had heard after, that they may not have gotten along, or there could have been a problem there that caused them to get traded, because he just re-signed in 22 and he was 2 years into a 4-year deal. So I was curious about your thoughts on Stephon Diggs being traded.
I think Josh Allen and he were fine. I do. I think the new offense. Too. Yeah, I think the new offense ticked them off a little bit. It's a little more run heavy. And listen, we got to remember, the reason you were able to trade for him in the first place is he forced his way out of Minnesota.
He did. And I think they got rid of Ken Dorsey, I remember.
Yeah, I think certain guys just need to be on the move a little bit. They need a little extra hug. And you've seen those pictures, like where the clock goes 0 when they lose to Kansas City every year, and it's always him, like almost in tears, staring at the scoreboard. I think he was just done with Buffalo. And I think there's a lot of the players that didn't like McDermott anymore, but he was able to rally him. Yeah, he's no nonsense, but he rallied them after that story came out about him using 9/11 as a talking point to teach about teamwork. They rallied. They didn't lose till the playoffs.
No, so they fired Ken Dorsey. They brought in I think it's Perry. I can't remember the guy. He was from LSU.
Joe Brady.
Brady. They brought in Brady as the OC. They started running the ball, which they needed to do. That helped. So it was just sad to see him go because I don't know that they replaced enough weapons for Josh Allen in the draft. I know they drafted a couple receivers, but they let Gabe Wilson? Or Gabe Davis?
Gabe Davis,
Wilson?
Yeah, Gabe Davis.
Yeah. They let him go. So they have two good tight ends. I wish them the best. And then the last thing I'll ask is Saquon Barkley. He jumps to the Eagles. It really wasn't for much like a huge salary. It was $2 million more than the franchise tag or what the Giants had paid before. Do you think the Giants will regret letting him go?
I don't, because I think I've seen take Brian Dable back to when he was the OC in Buffalo, and you had a bunch of running backs. You didn't have like a star running back.
No, they had Singletary, and you're right.
And now Singletary's back with the Giants, so he's got him back. I think listen, you can look around. It's your Super Bowl champions almost never devote that much money to their running back.
They don't. They can't anymore.
San Fran's the only one who gets there by putting money in their running back room, and Christian McCaffrey's not really a running back. He
had well over 2,000 yards total offense. I mean, he's earned his keep. He's earned his keep.
Yeah. So I think it's if it's a parity league, makes sense. Go put some money into Keon Cole, the other guys that are going to be hopefully your next star, and maybe finally get over that hurdle.
Okay. Well, Jeff Levack, president, Albany Firebirds. Thank you so much for coming.
It feels weird to hear it.
I know, right? Well, it's even weirder. They asked me what I wanted to name my sports show, and I said Steve Cully's Festivus of Sports. Are you a Seinfeld fan?
Yeah, I didn't know when we were going to air grievances. I was ready.
We'll do the airing of grievances the next interview. Hopefully I can get to interview you after you're holding up the championship and winning a title. That's I wish you all the best. I am planning to try to get out there for one of the last home games. I will let you know when I do. I follow you guys. It's just so good to see that the team is back. You got the right players, you got the right coaches, you got the right people in the organization, and Albany loves its arena football. And I think especially the last 2 years, this year, next year, you're going to see that 8,000 to 10,000. You'll start to see it regularly. You're building your season ticket base. They're believing in you. They're trusting you. And Antonio Brown's gone. So,
amen. So there's my grievances. You just aired them for me.
I aired them for you. Yeah, so you didn't have to say it. So I have a little saying before I sign off. It's just basically, again, thank you for being with us. And remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at life.